I'm gay, and I dislike the LGBT community. Is the video we're watching right now.
Is almost over. Thank God, because if I see another rainbow flag on my feed, I might buy a pack of Skittles and start slingshotting them at my screen.
No, 50-50, man.
My distaste may come as a surprise to some people, considering I'm actually a part of the LGBT community.
No, your distaste does not come as a surprise. It's getting quite normal. I have a lot of LGBTQ friends that are in the same position as you. They dislike the community. They don't want to be associated with it because they see it as more supremacy rather than actually a positive community. The second it became the LGB and the T was added, things started to change. But the LGB community have always been great folks, at least in my experience.
In case you haven't noticed from my endless references to titties and busty Latinas in the past 10 videos, I like hot chicks. This is not a coming out video. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't need a rainbow flag and a teary-eyed video confessing the fact that I like big butts and I cannot lie. But it may be interesting to hear that I'm actually extremely ashamed to be a part of this community.
Fully understandable. I've dated quite a few bisexual girls and nobody wants to say they're bisexual. They're like, I don't go to Pride. I don't want to talk about it. Most of them are. They're done. They're done with this. There's so much dumb shit in this community. And I'm not saying don't enjoy RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm not saying don't enjoy gay culture. I'm saying a lot of the things that are happening is so shoved down people's throats and so aggressive and offensive in a sense that people don't want to be associated with it anymore.
And look, I know we've come a long way. There was a period of time when anyone who wasn't heterosexual was scrutinized or in severe cases even killed. And as glad as I am that I can walk down the street holding a girl's hand and not face the scrutiny, I also feel like we've passed the point of acceptance and are now at the point of blatant indoctrination. Someone has 100%. To say it. These pride parades have gotten disgusting. It's not even about...
Not only that, last pride parade I walked past, because I was living in a big city at the time, and I walked past it, and there was people... And I shit you not, with a G-string so small that their whole member was out on one side. And yes, it was a man, or multiple men. And the boobs were out everywhere, like free the nipple, woo! And this, remember, mid-downtown of the city, at about 2 o'clock till 5 o'clock, when kids are in the street in the weekend. We are not allowed to show porn to children. So why are you allowed to show naked people doing porn-like activities?
About acceptance anymore. It's a provocative and aggressive public display of hypersexuality and fetish. What was supposed to be an accepting and innocent space has turned into a hostile freak show. I didn't go to Pride, never will, unless it's to document the absurdity of it, but this is what LGBT is associated with now. It's no longer associated with peace, love, unity, and tolerance. Instead, it's associated with hypersexualization, provocation, fetish, and bigotry. I don't know.
And the problem is, there's no real issue being a person with fetishes, or a person with kinks, or a person that likes wild, absurd sexual activity. The problem is when you do it in the street. The problem is when you're trying to indoctrinate other people to it. And the problem is when you are allowing this to be shown to kids everywhere. Do you know how ridiculous that is? I went to a Pride festival in 2016 in Leeds. And there are things that just shouldn't be done there. Like the full BDSM harnesses in the middle, the puppy play stuff. You shouldn't do that at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the daytime. But Daniel, we are being pushed down. No, you're not. You're out in that outfit. You're allowed to do that. You're not being pushed down.
What happens to the days when we would encourage people to accept themselves and make peace with those who disagree with us? Because now we just scream obscenities at anyone even whispering a subtle argument. This community has managed to weaponize its own labels and use them unfairly, not hesitating to label any opposition as transphobic or homophobic.
Or fatphobic or all the phobics.
Ones complaining about intolerance. 2 girls holding hands in public were at risk of being fucking shot. They couldn't adopt kids, get married, start a family. So I completely understand why we spent so many years fighting for tolerance. But we have it now. And ever since we've been shown tolerance, we're now the ones refusing to reciprocate it.
Yes, because now that the tolerant has become intolerant, and it's become dangerous to even oppose the intolerance of the ones that would want one's supposed to be the tolerant.
We've now become the side that is intolerant to opposing beliefs.
Yep.
The script has flipped completely, and it's not for the better. See, back in the day when I was a little G rolling up on my keys trying to finesse the hoes, I didn't even know what gay was, much less what trans was. I grew up in the South, the deep South, like frogging, gator hunting, Confederate flag South. I thought LGBT
I don't know. I like her.
for let's
She
go
looks
beer
like a cool
tasting.
girl.
I didn't know a single gay person in my life, and I didn't have a phone or any type of social media to be exposed to it either. And yet somehow I looked like this. Yeah.
Yeah, big girl.
That's 7 or 8 year old me, dope slinging and pimping since 01, baby. My idol, if you can't tell, was Rob Deerdeck.
Terrible
Let me
idol,
tell
but
you,
still.
I got made fun of all the time. If only I had $1 for every time someone asked me, "Are you a boy or a girl? Why do you dress like a boy?" I would always get so pissed off when people would call me gay, faggot, dyke, because at the time I didn't know that I was gay. So I would just be standing there like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
What the fuck you even talking about, bro? In her most manly voice. I mean, she is funny. I kind of like her. So don't take this as a diss. If you see my video, don't take it as a diss. You're funny.
I'm none of these things that you're calling me. It wasn't until I was going into high school that I realized, oh shit, I like tits. Everyone around me knew before I knew. The reason I'm telling you this story is so that you're aware that I wasn't acting or pretending or trying to fit a label or any of that bullshit. I never dressed like a boy out of opposition for tradition. I never did it in pursuit of being unique. As cringy as it sounds, I was genuinely just being myself. My interests were never in Barbies or playing house. I wanted to play basketball and build Lego City. I was never constantly in my head thinking, oh, if I do this masculine thing, then this feminine. No. What 8-year-old kid thinks about that?
A lot of 8-year-old kids nowadays, and that's the problem, because it's been so much talk about it that it's almost impossible for you to not get into it. And when you are going to school and there's a fucking book there that says, "My mommy is gay, I have 2 daddies, sexual intercourse within this and this and this." Do you know how bad that is for an 8-year-old to sit and read that and always thinking about sexuality? And then your teacher's a trans person that goes, "You can be a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter what you're born as." It does matter. It really does matter.
For an 8-year-old kid to be thinking like that, they would either have to be medically neurotic or extremely brainwashed by social media. I didn't have TikTok or Instagram as an 8-year-old kid.
Fucking
Thank
lucky
God.
you.
And I feel genuinely sorry for kids growing up on these platforms being exposed to all
so
of these
sick.
attention whoring and degenerate ways of life. They don't get to see that all the real trans people are discreet. You don't know that they're trans because they don't want you to know. They want to blend in as a normal person and live a normal life as their changed gender. They don't want anyone asking their pronouns. They want it to be so obvious that you just assume their gender. That's
Exactly. That's what you want. You want to be assumed the gender you think you are. That's it. That's the best explanation of what a real trans person is like. A person that's like, "Hey girl, would you like to come with us?" That was a dude back in the day, but that's a full girl. But now it's like, "Did you just assume my gender?"
why they spent thousands of dollars on corrective surgeries, so that you could look at them and not ask what they are. That's the whole point of a transition. All of these people you see on social media boasting about their transgenderism are the ones transitioning out of a feeling of emptiness and need for validation.
Yep, 100%.
They're not doing it out of a genuine sense of dysphoria and discontentment with their body.
And also, most people don't have a gender dysphoria or discontentment with their body. There's a very small percentage, and that percentage do it and feel genuinely good about themselves. You go, girl or man, you go for it. But the people that are doing this for attention, get out of here.
These days, the members of the LGBT community are all demanding that people acknowledge and accept their often obscure identities. It feels like everyone's desperately grasping at these labels, all in a fight to be unique and interesting. But since when did we become...
What do you want to be called? Handsome? Beautiful? Well, you are neither, so you don't have a problem with that.
So desperate for approval and validation. These people look attention hungry and childish.
They do.
It's like they're desperate for the whole world to accept and integrate their
They need a
worldview.
left hand to the jaw.
That expectation is frankly unrealistic and juvenile. My sexuality is not a core part of my identity. I don't purposely flaunt it. I don't expect...
It's a part of your identity, but I agree, it's not a core part of your identity. You could be a pianist, you can be somebody who loves making swords and weaponry, and you can happen to be gay or happen to be straight or bisexual. I completely agree.
anyone to respect it, and I sure as hell don't need a stranger's validation for why it's okay. I am the way that I am. Whether you like that or not is absolutely irrelevant to me. I'm not proud of being gay. I think that shit's mad dumb. Because when you think of the word pride, you think of some type of achievement. Some accomplishment, something you worked for. My attraction to women is not something that I chose. I didn't work for it. It's just how I am. Straight people don't flaunt the fact that they're straight. That's just how they are. Do you really think that anyone gives a shit about what genitalia you're attracted to? I genuinely can't think of a more irrelevant detail about your character. I don't give a fuck who you hump. As long as it's not my chick.
Oh my god. Yeah, I just okay, I like this girl. I'm gonna give her a like. I'm gonna actually follow this account.